wanted to take you to a comparison of one example of a patient that we worked with before and after. So before, this one patient had a heart rate that was running between 40 and 50, which is much too slow, and a heart rate that runs too low is diagnosed and defined as bradycardia. And this patient also had an atrial fibrillation, which is where the heart was beating too erratically. Right over here, you could see some erratic beating of the heart. And as a result, the heart was what we call fibrillating, or not beating appropriately. And these are things that we look at, these subtle little changes right here can be picked up by our heart sound recorder that may not always be picked up through a traditional EKG. This patient also had a history of eating high levels of sugar. The patient was overweight, and the patient had dietary issues that needed to be addressed. We worked with the patient for 2 months of time, and in that 2 months, we got the heart rate back up to 74. We lowered the amount of sugar in the patient's diet, and the patient began to lose weight and actually began to physically feel the difference. But you could see in the graph where there was a very long pause between heart sounds and the tricuspid valve. Over the course of a few months, that valve started opening and closing more appropriately and started solving the problem with that lowered heart rate that we initially had the patient come in with. Now, mind you, this is a patient that has worked with 3 different cardiologists over 20 years, and none of the cardiologists ever found the underlying cause for the bradycardia. They would treat it with different medications and what have you, but it would never solve the problem. And it was not until we actually gave patient good standard nutrition, which is part of the 14-day heart sound recorder revitalization program, that we actually were able to bring back the heart rate to more of a normal rate. So that happened from nutrition, not from medication.